Okay, so this is part 3? No, part 2, sorry. So this
take 15.
takes 70,000. This is part 2 of the podcast. We are going to do our Roadburn special, I guess. The idea was to choose 5 artists or 5 projects that are playing Roadburn, talk a bit about them, and then compile a list, if possible, of our top 3 when there's overlap, or 5 things to see at Roadburn. I don't know if we have to talk a lot about Roadburn. I think a lot of people know about Roadburn, especially the ones following this channel. There is always the kid or the guy that I'm in contact with from America or something like that, especially black metal people who are unaware of Roadburn, I think, because it was always a kind of a stoner fest in the past. I think 5 years ago they kind of changed their outlook because of festivals like Desert Fest making waves in the festival scene and kind of doing what Roadburn was doing, and that pushed them to reinvent themselves. I think as long as I've been going, they are kind of following what I'm listening to or what I am into music-wise. I started going when Sun was curating the festival, and from that year on it has always been better and better and better. And more fine-tuned to what's going on in a wider scope of heavy music. So yeah, the first time I went, I think, was together with Thomas in 2012.
No, it was earlier, because we saw Sleep. Like,
what year was that?
2012 was Sleep already, so I think
that was my first year. Maybe you went before, a year before that, but I think Sleep was my first, and I met you, like we discussed in the previous video we did. The first thing we saw was Ghost in the m.A.A.d.
Yeah, and that.
But the thing I remember was Sleep in the main hall, the 013, and that was, I think, my first Roadburn. It kind of all interesting.
Was that before they played in Antwerp? Sleep?
I think it was the same tour.
Same tour.
They played,
I think 2 days before.
Because I saw them in Antwerp then.
I couldn't go to Tricks because they. That's again one of the records forgotten by 2018. That Sciences. That new
exactly, they released a record as well.
Yeah.
2018.
That kind of went under. They released it 420, which was kind of record store day. 420, haha, Blaze. But yeah, a really good record, a Sleep record, which people have been waiting for since.
I think I've listened to that record like once.
Yeah.
I haven't checked it.
No, what you checked it?
It's got a lot of good reviews. I think, but
I have it here. Maybe we'll play it.
Everybody was excited, basically. The entire internet was pretty excited.
Yeah, it came out on Turtman Records, which was a
Third man.
Brown sweater over here.
Turtman.
Turtman Records is the Jack White's label. So yeah,
OG Turtman.
OG Turtman. You are. Meanwhile, let's see what we're listening to. We're listening to Bonobo, Animal Magic. Bonobo. This is his first offering, I think, or his first full length, nonetheless, on Ninja Tune. True Thoughts Records from what year? Has to be 2001. Yeah, 2001.
Where did you pick up that?
Music Mania in Brussels. I was studying in Brussels at the time, and I was, like I said earlier, heavily into Ninja Tune at the time with Food and
Fly Low.
He wasn't even on that label at that time, I think.
Okay.
DJ Food, I think DJ Vadim was on there. Yeah. Cold Cut. I'm kind of looking at Spines. So yeah, Bonobo, he released a new record today, so I haven't checked it, but maybe next playlist. So yeah, top 5 Roadburn. This is rapidly turning into the top 5 podcast, but that's kind of a good way to dive into stuff. So Thomas, first.
Obviously, my number 1 2C band was Have a Nice Life. And I'm sure Jens is going to think the same.
I left it off my list because I knew 100%.
It's the singular reason I'm going to Roadburn this year, because the Dead Consciousness record, I've been listening to it since it was released in 2008, I think. It was just...
They have 2 records, I think, something
no,
like that.
I think 2 or 3.
Yeah. 2 or 3.
But
the one after that is heavily underrated as well. I listened to Dead Consciousness most, but the white cover with like the people dancing in robes.
Okay.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's heavily underrated. It's really good as well.
Yeah. Just an awesome. I don't know any other band who sounds like that. Have a Nice Life. Like in 2008, they got picked up on every mainstream media basically, and they got so just good reviews.
Yeah.
They were doing something else at that point.
What time was it? 2008?
Yeah.
9,
I think it's part because of the label, because they are on the Flenser, which is not getting a spotlight on Roadburn, but they have 3 bands. They have Bos de Nak, or Bos de Nach, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. And they have Street Sex also on, so 3 bands on Roadburn.
Street Sex as well.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
So, around that time, Flenser was really, Botanist was on there. That was a label that was blowing up at I think around that time, 2008, maybe a little later, but yeah. Underrated label, underrated bands.
I think the last album was on Sacred Bones, right?
Street Sex.
No, the last Have a Nice Life. The one with the white.
I'm
or am I?
into
Could be. I'm completely.
I'm not sure. I think they are Flenser all the way, but
oh, could be
mistaken. It's one of those things. So yeah, Have a Nice Life is the first one.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, and Have a Nice Life, it's like a melange of post-punk, some experimental music, some
black metal, even
some dissonant black metal. It's super interesting, and once again, at that point of time, I didn't have heard anything sounding like it. Some shoegaze, some it's like, really extremely looking forward to that. But I think it's the first time they tour in Europe.
I haven't seen them play.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm really excited. Not excited, but I'm really curious to see how that was going to translate on a live set. Because there's a lot going on the record, and I hope they can translate it.
They got a distinctive sound on record, and I'm curious how they do it on live.
Is the venue where they're playing?
I don't know. I have no idea where.
Probably green room or something like that, or maybe smaller.
I just hope not in the main stage on the Mulder team. That's just the only thing I hope.
So Have a Nice Life, the second one, Thomas.
Well, the second one I chose was the Black Bombay and Peter Brodsman collaboration. Black Bombay is a Portuguese band. I saw them once at the Incubate Festival as well, in my favorite festival in Tilburg.
Yeah.
It's like a psychedelic, free jazz, whatever you want to call it. It was really nice, and especially the collaboration between Peter Brodsman. Peter Brodsman is also a free jazz saxophone player. So yeah, I'm only desperate to know how that sounds live.
It's going to be one of the shows that, if it's not at the same time with something I want to see more than. And Roadburn is one of those festivals that you can just skip one of your top bands just sitting at a nice spot drinking beer in the sun.
Or go out or go check some other band you have heard.
There's just too much going on, but yeah.
Of course, Daughters.
I skipped that from my list because I knew that.
No, it's on my list as well, so I can skip.
I'm not going to dive in any further. Loop. It's one of those bands. Probably they headline the main stage. It's like the band when you're at 11 o'clock, smoking a joint, having a beer, and just have a fucking good time.
Yeah.
It's exactly one of those bands. So I'm not really a Loop fan, but it's just, you know, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be quality. It's going to be decent.
Classic ATP fan band as well back in the day.
ATP, yeah. Loop is one of the bands that reminds me of last year because I'm mostly interested in black metal and the more darker stuff. But I went to the festival with Han,
and he's the opposite.
Really good friend. He's the sunshine boy, and last year was like 30 degrees non-stop. It was like being in San Diego all the time, and the entire San Diego scene was there. And it was just like I skipped a lot of shit that I wanted to see just to relax,
have a good time,
smoke a joint, and have a good time.
Just hang out and have a good time.
Hang out, especially with Han. He should have been here for this one, but he's here in spirit.
Exactly. Honey Boers, always in my heart, though. I've also written down. It's not a top 5. It's not, you know, just written down bands that I I'd go see when I was at Roadburn. Midnight, of course. Just, you know, some Motorhead-ish, punky,
Venom style.
Venom, whatever. Drink beer, have a good time. You know.
They were supposed to be playing, I think, last year or the year before, but they canceled. So it's a rematch for Midnight. I saw them at the club in 013 a few years ago. We went together, I think.
Yeah, actually saw them too. Yeah, we were. Yeah.
We did a lot of shows together. Thinking about it.
Yeah, in the past,
In the past. In the past. Back when we were young.
Younger.
Is that number 4? Midnight?
Yep. Pharmakon.
Oh yeah.
Because Pharmakon is fucking awesome, and I think it's really nice. You know, it's the opposite of everything that's playing at Roadburn, because everything at Roadburn that's playing is really structured, and it's a band from A to Z. They play a song, you know, and Pharmakon is okay. There's structure in there in what she's doing, but Pharmakon is wild electronics. It's a nice looking young woman from I don't know where she comes from, but
New York.
The last time I saw her, it was at Le Guess Who in Utrecht a couple of years ago. She played 15 minutes, and it was 15 minutes just pure obliteration from everything. It was.
She's constantly in destroy mood.
Yeah. But yeah, on the other hand, Pharmakon's is getting pretty mainstream as well.
Yeah,
it's like it's just like the poster girl for power electronics and noise music.
Okay.
But yeah,
I have her as a runner-up, so yeah, she is definitely.
Last time I saw her, she was playing guitar for one of those New York punk bands.
Is that?
Like a few years ago, you had all of them coming on tour, going from China. I think China.
China might be the one, yeah.
Yeah, like all these. What was the label called? So it was China, Anasazi.
Yeah. Like, is in there.
Yeah, all of them. They came on tour like in the same year. And I know she was playing guitar for one of them. I think it might have been China. I don't remember.
That was at the Boss.
Yeah, it was there.
It was the Cocaine Piss China show.
Could be.
And Toxic. No, not the Oozing Wounds.
Could have been. I think it was that show.
Great night. Great night. Yeah, definitely looking forward to what she's going to do and how she's going to do it at Roadburn.
It's going to be short and hard.
I think so too.
Probably, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, that's the way it should be.
I've also written down. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I've also written down Sleep, obviously, because I'm not going to claim I've been listening to Sleep a lot. The last couple of last 2-3 years, but
when that dope smoker hits,
when you're at
that holy mountain hits,
Roadburn is like the you can't have better places to listen to Sleep.
Exactly.
And they're playing 2 sets. They're playing a Sciences in Full or something like that, and then a career spanning set.
Okay.
That will have the greatest highlights.
But I remember in 2012 I was revisiting the YouTube. I was like, God damn it. And I remember when I was standing there, I was like, is it really is it really happening, you know?
We held hands at some point.
And, you know, the main stage in 013 was quite smaller as it is today.
That was fucking incredible.
And
it was Sleep, Heavy
one-
Blanket, and The Obsessed.
Yeah.
I swear to God, the next day I woke up at Ring's place, and my ears were,
Yeah.
and that went on for like a year.
The only thing I didn't like about that set is the shortened version of Dope Smoker.
Yeah,
but
it's
they
like,
have to cut it.
Yeah, but they don't.
Or you
They have
play
to
it in
do
full. Yeah, I know, but
just
they
play
can't
2
skip it.
hours then, I think. But, you know.
Yeah, or don't play it at all. It was like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
didn't make sense
Just
for
some
me to make
teasing.
like a 10-minute version of it. It was like,
Yeah.
but I was an insane show. But,
It was the first time Sleep revisited Europe to that exact tour,
Yeah.
and it was like, you know, it was in the air. Everybody was
Everybody was looking
feeling
for
it.
it. Because
Everybody was
that
feeling
venue normally is packed, but it was
super
bad.
bad.
yeah, especially for Roadburn at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were on the balcony upstairs.
Yep.
That's the first time I met Amake Piss. We shared a joint at that. A lot of things happened during that set.
And I also remember that, you know, it was like one big bong in that in the main stage. It was
The weed incubator.
the Weedians were all there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I also mentioned Softkill because I've been listening to not the most recent record, but the record before that. Really good band. And
It's really cool
also
that they're playing at Roadburn as well.
Yeah.
cool addition to Roadburn.
I think the fact that they're on Profound Lore, a label that is like Sacred Bones, maybe just opened up their catalog and is hit after hit, from Portal to Pissgrave to. I mean, I have an artist in my top 5 that is also on Profound Lore. They can't do anything wrong at this point. They're good. They're going from strength to strength. It's incredible.
There's a lot of Profound Lore.
Yeah,
bands,
a lot of Profound Lore bands. Yeah, nice top 5.
Top, that was not a 5. but-
7.
Top 100.
Yeah. I got 2 other additions to the list, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
you can just.
there's
pick
too
one.
much in the lineup too. You have to make a selection. I mean, this is my top 5.
Top 60,000.
Yeah. Just like my top 2018 60,000 bands. Jens?
So yeah, a few of them already been mentioned. Like most of them basically. One of them that I know that was Bliss Signal. Not huge into what they're putting out. It's basically what's his name from Altar of Plagues and Wife.
Plague and Wife.
And then Mum Dance, which is a pretty successful producer actually. So the output they've done so far, I don't really, not really too excited about. I get what they're trying to do, more like atmospheric, electronic, black metalish stuff. I'm curious to see what it brings on a live
The
performance.
EP wasn't really that convincing. Was
No, but I'm curious to see if they can do something with
Yeah.
it, because I think like what's his name, what, you know?
Yeah, I
The
mean,
guy from
like,
Altar of Plagues.
Altar of Plagues
He's
wife,
playing, he's playing live guitar on it normally, so and a bit of electronics as well. So I think it could be cool.
I need to pick in on this because I have it high up on my list, and I just listened to it again today to the full. And the fact that it had on Bandcamp 2 remaining records might have played a role, but I just ordered the record. I am completely into it. Yeah. It is. If you are a fan of Altar of Plagues and you know that there is not going to be an Altar of Plagues record in the foreseeable future, and you're a fan of Wife, it is the perfect middle ground between those bands. And not all tracks hit, but when they hit big. For me, at least. It is a kind of electronic project that leans into black metal, but just the ambient parts of the Altar of Plague that just are expanded to a huge scope, and I'm really curious.
For me, it was just I read the description, and then I listened to it, and I was like, okay, that's that's what was described in advance, but it wasn't really like mind blown.
Yeah. Exactly, but I really love the last Altar of Plague.
The time we went to see them, the last gig in Belgium, you were instantly hooked because you didn't know them at the time.
I didn't know them.
Or you didn't.
Yeah, I had no idea what the band was.
I know that I knew the previous record before.
Yeah, okay.
And I've been on.
I had never heard of them, and since then I was into everything the guy's been
Everything.
doing. Wife has
But
been.
the last Out of Place record is
Was
most
it Crooked Teeth
by
and
far the
whatever?
I think the problem is
Seated, yeah,
Teeted Glory or
Teeted-
something.
Yeah.
Teeted-
I think the problem for you is you picked in at Ultra of Plagues and nothing the guy is going to do, not Wife, not Bliss Signal, is going to live up to what we've seen in Antwerp at the Kafka. But I think this comes very close. I think if I was going to make something, it just touches everything I'm listening to right now, the electronic and the black metal and the melting of those two.
Well,
I have it.
I'm curious to see what it's gonna bring. I think it could be interesting live.
It has to blow me away.
Yeah,
live
exactly.
To
That's
really,
the main
to really hit
takeaway. Another one I had written down, Drab Majesty.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen them live.
No.
It's also a band on record that sometimes I can listen to it straight on, and sometimes like, oh.
It has that 80s Talk, Duran maybe.
Roxy Music
Roxy
5
Music,
even, with the Ziggy Stardust
But I think live,
look.
if it hits at the exact right time, at the exact right high and
But
drunkenness, it's
Isn't
going to
that
be
exactly the perfect example for a guy? He should play at like 12 at night.
Yeah,
or something.
preferably.
Like a small
Yeah.
bar or whatever, and
Or
just
some-
At the smallest
After
venue.
party, you know, an after party or something.
When everybody is
Fucking wasted.
Yeah.
And then, yeah,
exactly.
I can imagine that that's the perfect environment for something for an
Yeah.
artist at Roadburn who plays that kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
I have one record by them, Deus Records, the last one I think. Yeah, I love that record. I mentioned it to a few friends of mine, and they all. The main consensus is it's just 80s doing again, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
And in a way it is, but it, yeah. But
It's just elevated a bit more, and it's just done good. It's really done good.
Exactly. Yeah, on the last on the list, others have mentioned SQÜRL have a nice live daughters. Birds in a Row. It's a band I really like. It's a French band. It's
A French band you like.
yeah, exactly. I'm
God
surprised as
damn.
well, but it's
Birds and Row and Deathspell Omega. That's it.
Yeah, I know Deathspell Omega.
Yeah, but
Kickback,
it's
of course.
but it, yeah, Kickback until Birds in a Row. Kickback was the only French band I liked. I think. Maybe Serge Gainsbourg and Kickback might be the only two I enjoy. But
Kickback.
I love Forever War by Serge Gainsbourg.
That's
It's an awesome record.
but Birds in a Row, I really like it.
Well, what can you?
It's like the Europe. Yeah, I'm not even called the European answer. I'm going to call the French answer to the Touché Amores and La Disputes
They're on
of
Death
the
Wish.
world.
They're on Death Wish. They're
And-
part of that.
And normally I hate the European answers to US bands, but it's really good. I only know the latest records. I checked whatever they did before it briefly, but it sucked in my opinion. I really don't like it. But the
I think
new
they
record's
stepped
really
up their game a lot on the last
Yeah.
record.
How many records do they got?
I think they have 2 or 3 fulls, maybe a bunch of.
But I feel like before it was a bit more the typical emotional hard rock. Now it's like really.
They
When I
kinda
hear
broke-
Touché Amore,
Yeah, but it's
you lose
it's a
me.
bit
It's like,
yeah, it's a
They
bit
kind of broke away from that
yeah,
scene.
and it still has that feel to it, but it's a lot more sterile, bit not darker, but more experimental, artsy, and it's good. Yeah, I like it. It's
I think it's a good. I think it's good that Roadburn programs these
Yeah.
things. The fact that they have the.
Most definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
They got a platform.
I think they have the close connection to Death Wish, apparently, of course, because they did Converge, they did Jacob Bannon solo projects, and so they have a really close connection to Death Wish, and I think Birds in a Row, maybe like Cult Leader would have fit there, but I think Birds in a Row is a better choice than.
yeah, and I'm normally I'm not that much. I mean, Touché Amore is a band I enjoy to a certain degree. La Dispute, for example, I really like. But then my interest in this entire genre is
Just fades away. It's kind of the outliers of the entire screamo scene, and the maybe post screamo. I'm not sure if we can call it that, but yeah, I think that is a band that
it's
interesting band. The I listened to a podcast called Zes Losse Tanden, which is a Dutch podcast that invited Walter to do a special. It's a podcast based on like this. They choose 5 or 6 tracks and then they play it. And I think Birds in a Row was in the conversation of that podcast.
Birds in a Row.
The only thing I got from that podcast, which was not really great, we're not really great, but whatever, that it's the last time Patronaat is being used at Roadburn, which is one of the coolest venues with the stained glass. When the sun comes through to those stained glasses, and you know that venue is called, it's awesome.
Got
and
a lot of good memories.
Yeah.
And,
that was one of the things I got, and then the other thing was that Walter is trying his absolute best to get Krallis to Roadburn, which if that happens...
Have you seen Krallis?
No, they haven't. They played one time at Incubate.
I think I even saw him.
I have seen Krallis
at Incubate.
With Dolica Hedro.
Yeah, they played one time at Incubate.
Yeah, and some other. It was metal-wise. It was a extremely.
I love it.
Twisted.
I have to.
Good lineup.
Yeah, I have to be honest, and I kind of fell off, but this entire bulk here is just Krallis records, so I really love them. Yeah, we're going to cut here and then come back with the third part